Get woke, go rich? I thought the saying was get woke, go broke. Apparently that's not true. Now, in all seriousness, I've mentioned this before, get woke, go broke is not a law because there are many things that get woke and do just fine. And there's a correct way of doing diversity and social justice that typically the social justice activists don't do, and that's the real problem. But anyway, here's the story. Colin Kaepernick's new Nike shoe sells out on the first day. Get woke, get rich. See, there are certain instances where it makes sense to get woke, and I think the reality is Colin Kaepernick isn't catering to the NFL or to Americans who like sports. They're specifically catering to woke social justice types. So you may be shocked. Why would people be buying his shoe? We all don't like him. No. That's because you're sports fans. This is Kaepernick branching out and realizing his NFL career is over, and it's been over for a long time. Now he just needs to maintain martyr status so that people who don't care about football will be attracted to his product. Then you can see what Nike does. Nike is in on this not because they're concerned about what football fans will do, because they know they've got a way to reach a new market, a new demographic of people who normally don't buy their products. And best of all, Nike has a sordid history with labor in foreign countries. Now, some reports that I haven't pulled up will say they've stopped doing that, but activists have been very critical of Nike. Nike has just won them over. They found their cause. They found their martyr. Congratulations, Kaepernick. It's working out. The dude's going to be rich forever. Just admit it. Let's read the story. CNBC reports, Nike's new True 27 shoe with former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick has already sold out on the first day of its North American release, according to the company's website. Now, I want to stop here. How many shoes did they make? Maybe they'll tell us. But think about it this way. If they put out 10 shoes and then sold all of them, and then when we sold out all of the shoes, it might sound really great. So I think it's important to know, did they make 1,000 of them? Did they make 1,000,000 of them? How many people really bought this shoe? Maybe they'll tell us. Let's read. This Air Force One season, Nike partnered with a collective of collaborators to design an Air Force One that connects to their life personally. Colin was identified because we believe his voice and perspective inspire many generations on and off the field, said a Nike spokesperson in an email. The $110 black and white shoe sports an embroidered portrait of Kaepernick on the heel tab, reflective swoosh, and his personal logo on the tongue. The successful release suggests that Nike's ties to the controversial athlete has paid off so far, despite the NFL's tumultuous relationship with the former San Francisco 49er. Earlier this year, Nike nixed the release of its Betsy Ross American flag shoe after Kaepernick reportedly criticized the shoe for being offensive. You know what? How insane. Here we are, entering 2020 amid absolute psychosis. They canceled the shoe with the Betsy Ross flag because he claimed it was representing slavery and white supremacy, which is just nuts. It's not true. He made it up. I really don't like this guy. The shoes were to be released in advance of 4th of July. That's right. You can't make a 4th of July shoe, but they'll make a Kaepernick shoe and they will sell it out. They say in September 2018, Nike included Kaepernick as the face of Nike's 30th anniversary Just Do It campaign. A boycott Nike hashtag soon trended on Twitter, and Nike shares took as much as a 3% hit when the campaign was announced. But online sales surged after the ad's release. And the commercial was also met with critical acclaim, winning Nike an Emmy for Outstanding Commercial for the first time since 2002. But Emmys are editorial, okay? Let me just tell you something. You want to win an Emmy? You pay, essentially, to submit yourself, and if the editorial committee decides they want to give you an award, congratulations. So if you cater to the sensibilities of woke outrage, then yeah, they're going to give you an award, like I care. Kaepernick first garnered national spotlight, yada yada, we get it, took a knee. Shares of Nike were little changed Monday, trading around 100-day midday, its shares were up. Yeah. Okay, here's the question that didn't get answered. How many shoes did they actually make? I'd be willing to bet it's a small number. But you know what? Take your good press. I don't know what the amount they're going to put out is, but I want to show you something. Check out this op-ed from AZ Central. They say, actually, let me see if I can fix the size on this one. Roger Goodell says NFL has moved on from Kaepernick. They ask, what if blacks move on from the NFL? Opinion. NFL commissioner escalated battle over police brutality by focusing on the wrong thing. He has to change his response for this to get better. I think what we're seeing here is that people in the NFL know, they know absolutely that Kaepernick, first of all, you guys know that he did that show where he threw some passes. What is it called? It was like a scouting thing. He was going to do this training session with the NFL, but they wouldn't let him have cameras. And so he said, I'll do my own. The scouts said he was average. So why deal with the heat? If he was one of the best football players in the world, maybe they'd be like, all right, it's worth taking flack over. No, the reality is, and I think we should all recognize this, the NFL has moved on from him. They don't care anymore, and most of the fans likely don't care either. This outrage and this support we're seeing, it's one-sided. I'd be willing to bet most NFL players probably don't even care anymore. They're probably like, oh yeah, that guy, I wonder what he's up to. Whatever, don't care. He's not relevant to the game anymore. But here's what they have to maintain. They have to maintain an image that he's doing well. So here you can see his shoe sells out, but they don't tell you how many shoes they actually made. You know, they make 100 shoes and sell them all out. It's not a big deal. They made 1 million and sold them out, sure. But the fact is, it's literally just a social justice brand. Okay, that shoe, I'll tell you this. If you're somebody who likes football and plays football and you bought that shoe, prove me wrong. Comment and tell me that's the case. So let's see what Greg Moore has to say, because he's angry that people, the NFL commissioner says the league has moved on from Colin Kaepernick. He says, to recap the conflict, Kaepernick became the leader of an anti-police brutality movement when he listened to the advice of a Green Beret and respectfully kneeled during the national anthem. It was a peaceful protest to the very violent deaths of unarmed black men that sparked riots and protests around the nation. Now I'm going to stop here. You know what the problem with Kaepernick and what he did was? It's a product of algorithmic manipulation. Is there an increase in police brutality and violence in the United States? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. But what I can tell you is for sure is that there are certain websites that make their money specifically pushing police brutality videos because injustice and woke outrage makes money. What ends up happening is that people like Kaepernick and other people of the woke left end up being inundated on Facebook with all of these videos, and they think it won't stop. Why are there so many instances? And you have to realize, with 330 million people in the US and an ever-expanding police force around the country, as there are more people, they hire more police, officers, you will see more instances of police brutality, but that doesn't mean that proportionally police brutality is actually going up. Now that shouldn't matter, because I'll be fair. I think even if you had one instance of a cop doing something brutal, we could protest that. That's fine. But I think it's also important to point out the reason why someone like Kaepernick would protest and kneel in the first place is due to being inundated with, it's what I call the scaling problem, okay? And for those of you who watch all of my content, you've heard me say it, but I'll explain it very simply. If you have 100 cops and one commits an act of brutality, then people are going to be like, look, we get it. It was one cop. It's bad, and we'll prosecute. What happens if you have 100 million police in the country, and then you have the same percentage, 1 million? Well, now you've got a serious problem because there are 1 million videos of police brutality, and people think it's worse than it really is. Now, admittedly, any police brutality is bad, and 1 million cops, it's really, really bad. But it's not actually that high. There's also instances where cops do things that are misinterpreted, falsely framed. There was a video that went viral recently showing cops they're riding their bikes on the street, they ride into someone's back and then grab them and throw them. The left put out a fake narrative saying they were randomly crashing into people and then charging them with assault, when in reality, they were most likely looking for this person. Even people on Reddit were like, it's very obvious they were passing other people by, and they were targeting that guy who was being filmed because he did something at a protest. You don't know what's going on. But when you see videos like this, people assume it's police brutality. So I'll tell you this. There's likely an increase in the perception of brutality, which results in people like Colin Kaepernick making a career move that benefited him wildly. Because I will tell you this, as an average quarterback, and I'm not a big football person. I can't tell you how it all works. I barely know anybody who actually plays, I can't even name many of the athletes. But I will tell you this, regardless of what sport you play, average doesn't last long. Look, I've been skateboarding my whole life, and I'll tell you this, there are a lot of skateboarders who were average, who are like average pros, and you don't hear their names anymore because now they're in their 30s. And they're not competing with 19-year-olds. In skateboarding, 19 is the best age. I think football is a little bit older than that because you get a little bit more muscle mass. I have no idea. The point is, Colin Kaepernick knows a football career is not going to last a long time. So he's pushing a social justice brand. They're only pretending it's about football, all right? When they sell these shoes, I'd be willing to bet, and I could be wrong, I'd be willing to bet that the people who are buying these shoes are activists who believe in the social justice issues that he's pushing. I also believe that those narratives are being amplified by algorithmic manipulation, companies like BuzzFeed and the Huffington Post, and so it creates a market. Colin Kaepernick, Roger Goodell, they moved on from him. He's not going to play football anymore. But he is going to be a social justice martyr, talking about white supremacy and privilege and how, he was ousted from football for daring to stand up for what he believed in, even though the problem isn't nearly as bad as he probably says it is. But again, I will be fair, okay? If you see one instance of brutality, you want to protest it, I can respect that. But what I don't respect is the manipulation of real issues and problems of brutality in an effort to sell a product and make money. Because this dude, Colin Kaepernick, is likely getting very, very rich off of everything that's happened all around. I'm not going to pretend like I know how much money he's making, but you get the point. Anyway, let it be said, okay? To all the get woke, go broke people, I know it's fun to say, but check it out. Colin Kaepernick's new Nike shoe sells out on the first day. Get woke, get rich. Again, we don't know how many shoes were made, were pressed, printed, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it was very few, but I think it was probably a decent amount. And he's still getting press, and he's still benefiting from it. So whether or not he's actually going to be rich off the shoe, it's still a net gain. Get woke seriously helped the career of Colin Kaepernick, who was an average quarterback who would have probably been out, at a certain point, but now his career will last forever because he got woke. Keep that in mind. Stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.